Okay, so let's go then. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly go through and try to come up with my own analysis for this essay, and we're gonna dive into this essay and see how similar my analysis was from Ariane's and see how things go. Okay, so it says a college and universities should require their students to spend at least one semester studying in a foreign country. So, okay, so should require. Okay, so the university is trying to require something, and it's basically whether their students should study abroad at least one semester, yes or no. Okay, so let's see the analysis over here and try to come up with reasons that justify this. Yeah, I mean, sending your students to another country for abroad studies is going to be a very good idea. So the number one reason that I can think of is, hey man, it's like always, there's like a famous saying that two brains are always better than one. So when you go to a different state, obviously you are going to dive into a new environment with different people, with different research, and probably you're going to learn from different perspectives. So I would say that different perspectives probably is going to allow you to see the same problem or the same research or the same product from different angles, and it's going to enhance your learning, something to this effect, because now you're going to be learning things from different professors. The other thing that I think is really important is, well, if you are going to a new place, well, I think that the fact that networking and coming up with these connections for jobs or probably internships and maybe getting interviews, this kind of stuff. So if you're going to a new place, obviously, probably there's a high potential that let's say you went for 2 semesters and there's a summer in between. Maybe you get to know someone who is basically a owner of a company or something, and he is basically offering internships to graduate students or even students who have undergrad level degree going on. So maybe this can help you and add value to your CV. What else? Okay, so another thing that I can probably think of is, okay, maybe you can learn from different cultures and maybe different languages, or probably maybe there is a unique thing in a specific culture. Like, for example, I can give you an example like that Indo-Pak. Mostly students don't get to earn while they are studying, whereas in the Western countries, people are doing part-time jobs. And this kind of like, from there, you can kind of like learn a lot for being independent and, resolving things on your own and kind of be self-sufficient from this type of stuff. So different cultures tend you to learn new things like language and being independent, okay? That kind of thing. So I think we have pretty much evidence for the yes side, but one thing that I think I forgot to read is what did the instructions of the essay told me to do. So the instruction, if I scroll back up, okay, write a response in which you discuss the extent to which you agree or disagree with the claim. In developing and supporting your position, be sure to address the position, compelling reasons or examples that could be used to challenge your position. Okay. So basically, this essay has clearly stated that, hey man, you really need to consider the opposite side and try to come up with a concession or probably a rebuttal or response for the attack of your essay. So now the question is, how can someone basically attack my 3 body paragraphs, which are going to be 2? Obviously, it really depends on, let's say, which 2 points have the most convincing examples. So now the question is, if there is, let's say, another point on the 4th side, can I come up with a rebuttal or a concession? Let's see how strong it is. So another question is, why should not universities should send their students to for abroad studies? Well, the first thing that I can come up with, is, hey man, what if people just can't simply afford it? Cannot afford. Or maybe, I mean, when it comes to afford, maybe, there are some, let's say, family issues, or probably dependent, people are dependent on someone. Let's say there is this father and he is, doing a degree, and he is, he is the bread owner of his 2 kids. And if he goes out, so probably the wife alone is not enough to, she's not capable enough to take care of the 2 kids. Or probably, there's some type of job security, the company that he's working for as a part-time job is, it's like a contract deal that, hey, you cannot leave us and you cannot go abroad. Or maybe, there is some type of, language barrier. How about that? So probably, let's say you want to go to China for abroad studies, and let's say you're getting a funded degree. However, you do not know Chinese, and that course is only available in Chinese. So how are you going to go there then, right? Or probably, what else could be? Money? How about money, right? So money can be a factor. Let's say you cannot go abroad and handle all the stuff and all the charges, like the ticket and the visa application and all the other stuff which is required, right? That kind of thing. So another question arises, So now the question arises is, can I come up with a strong argument, guys? Because at the end of the day, once you're done with your basic analysis, it's like, are you going to mostly agree, or moderately agree or disagree? Because if you're mostly agreeing, then you should have a strong rebuttal for the opposite side. Let's say this is the side that I want to pick, okay? The yes side, and then it is must that for the no side, I should have a strong rebuttal. But I don't think so that I can honestly come up with a strong rebuttal, because these are pretty solid reasons, and I don't think so that someone should be required or demanded to go if he has these problems. So what I'm going to go for is probably going to go for a concession and say that, hey, however, on the other side, there is a possibility that someone cannot simply afford to go abroad because of some family issues, whether there is some type of job security issue, some language barriers, that kind of thing. However, it is best, pay attention. Now I'm shifting back to my original thesis, which is, yes, that I support the fact that students should go abroad. So now I'm saying, however, students should be in the best state. Students should be required or be emphasized or be encouraged to go abroad, because it is going to help them a lot and have new experience, new exposure, new journey, and blah blah blah, that kind of thing. So now that we are done, probably I think the only thing which is left is kind of like pick your body 1 and body 2, and the third one is going to be the concession, which is this 4th point. So I'm leaning towards, how about, I think my first strongest 2 points is body 1, which is number 1. And my second most important point is going to be this body 2, which is mostly about networking. And I'm probably going to leave this culture thing, because I think I cannot come up with very strong arguments. Now that I have my initial setup ready, I think I'm in a pretty good position to dive into MS Word and start typing it. So now that we're done with our analysis, let's go to Ariane's essay and see how he has made things go. Okay, it says, students have become more aware and focused in the last few years and want to. Okay, so they have become focused about what? And want to learn and get exposure to various subjects and cultures as much as they can, due to which college and universities have started sending their students abroad to foreign universities to learn and study for at least 1 semester. Really? Okay. The prompt addresses the same idea And I mostly agree with this position for mostly two reasons, but I do concede that this could have some negative effects on the students' health as well. Okay, so the first statement is basically saying that students have an inclination to learn different cultures. Okay, but is this necessary? I'm not exactly sure. Let's dive into body one and see what Ariane has done. So it says, to begin with, exposure to various cultures and traditions is something that gives students a competitive edge over others and help them stand out. Okay, and how exactly you're going to support this argument? Let's see. Interacting with people from different cultures, ethnicity, etc. have helped students develop a strong, bold, confident personality. Okay, this is your second point, but where's the explanation? Their communication skills, convincing skills, people skills, as well as soft skills have improved drastically. Okay, there are a lot of assertions, man. I mean, you probably need to come up with a scenario in which you can explain how confidence is being boosted, how communication skills are being boosted. Like, for example, how would I, so if this is my point, how would I say this? Okay, I would say something to the effect of, and I'm gonna kind of like merge it with my first point, is the fact that, learning from different perspectives enhances your ability. I'm gonna say something to the effect of, hey, you know what? If you are basically doing a project in a specific culture, your project might not be that much successful on an international level. However, when you get out of that specific domain and you increase the circle of your domain, now when you're presenting this project in front of academics, you're probably going to hear different type of criticisms, and that is going to broaden up your scope of the practicality of your project. And eventually that is going to make you tackle different arguments with more persuasively. And now you're going to think about holistically on a worldwide scale rather than a specific point. And that eventually is going to make your communicating skills or presenting skills or soft skills to the next level. Something to this effect. I'm not seeing any example here. It's kind of like it feels like an exertion to the point when he said has improved drastically. Okay, let's see if there is more material to this. They tend to be more adjusting to a new environment. They tend to be more adjusting to a new environment, are able to withstand more hardships and uncomfortable situations, and tend to emphasize with other people more. Okay, there are a lot of assumptions here. Okay. So basically, the writer or the author is assuming that if you go to a new place, then it is almost guaranteed that you are going to a new situation, and that is going to be an uncomfortable situation. Okay, what if, let's say, you're from India or Pakistan, and your hostel was very, it was really upset, the laundry was not up to the level, but when you went to abroad, the hostel is like furnished, it is like A1 tip top, like 5-star hotels, that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, go ahead, man.
But I mentioned they tend to, so giving it a probabilistic nature.
Mm-hmm. So don't you think that you could have come up with an explanation for this one, like?
The explanation in the next line.
Okay, so the explanation is in the next line. Okay, let's see. For example, a student from India going abroad to study develops skills that he won't be able to develop while studying in the familiar, comfortable environment. He gets to know various new perspectives. Okay, so what skills is he learning? You haven't mentioned that. He gets to know various new perspectives of people studying there, their lifestyle, their skills, etc. Okay, which help him grow as a person. The above examples illustrate the dire need of a student to study in a foreign university for a semester to help grow as an individual. Is it convincing? Is it persuasive? That's the thing. So let's try to see it holistically. So you started saying that, okay, so your point was probably my third point, which was, learning from different cultures, right? This was your main point. So you dive into it by saying, okay, interacting with different cultures have helped students develop a strong, bold, confident personality. So there is your point number one, but I don't see an explanation how. Because when you're writing an argumentative or persuasive essay, the second you state something, the very next sentence should be an explanation how different cultures are basically helping students to grow their, their personality. There's nothing. Then you say their communication skills, convincing skills, people skills, as well as soft skills have improved. Okay, another assertion. It's like you first dart, but I was like, why did you throw it? You didn't give me any explanation, but then you throw the second dart. Okay, let's see if this makes sense. Their communication skills, convincing skills, people skills, blah, 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 improve drastically. They tend to, okay, this, guys, I mean, you need to understand, man. There is a difference between how academics talk and how politicians talk. Politicians come up with assertions after assertions after assertion after assertions. But the way academics talk is the second you make a claim, already the audience are expecting that you're going to come up with a sound argument and explanation for that. Again, you haven't explained anything that how communication, how going abroad is going to enhance communication skills. Like, why can't you stay in your own country and just, go to maybe an English spoken class and learn communication skills from there? Why certainly the going abroad experience is important. That stuff is just not there. That's not mentioned there. Then you say they tend to be more adjusting to a new environment. So, okay, so if this was my point, how would have I stated it? I would have said something that humans tend to hate change, and when you give them a new environment, they become more flexible because now they're unaware of what they might face. They have to keep themselves on guard at every time, something to this effect. So you have three different points, but you gave an example of only one. So it's a bit confusing when it comes to the structure, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an expert, but I would say that, hey man, this is not very convincing. What do you guys think? Well, let's hear opinion of others. So we have a newcomer. I've never heard from Myra, by the way. We have Nina with us. We have BKS with us. What do you guys think? Are my arguments making sense?
Yeah, very definitely your arguments are up to the mark.
Okay. What about you, Nina?
Everything I just write, I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know. And does Myra know that we are basically discussing the issue essay? Myra, can you come on the call? Probably, I think it's your first day.
Yes, hello, I just joined the call.
Okay. So the first thing that you need to go is you need to go to the verbal practice. And once you'll go there, you'll see two documents being shared by Ariane. You need to download the first one, and from there you will be able to join. Okay, so far, okay, so let me go back to the essay. So, how would I, okay, how should I write it? Okay, listen. So your point is the third point, which is basically different cultures. So you should start by saying that people tend to learn way more from different cultures than if they're being isolated at their own home country. For example, I can give you an example. Let's say there is an engineer who has basically a robotics engineer. He is an engineer in mechatronics. So let's say he is from a third world country, and he does not have, even though he wants to make awesome robots, like to the level of what NASA is making, like, Curiosity, Pathfinder, all those, robots which are basically wandering at the Mars. However, he does not have the resources to. So when he goes to the other country, now because he have a lot of different, people around him who are really creative in the robotic field, probably he's going to find people who have his interest kind of like inclined with theirs, and then he would be able to learn what he really wants. Or probably I can say something to the fact of, hey, maybe you can learn a different language, okay? Maybe there was this language, let's say English. You always wanted to learn that, but you probably not got the environment to do so. Now, once you went abroad, your English like skyrocketed. Probably, let's say you wanted to be independent. You know that in Indo-Pak countries, students don't tend to earn while they are studying. You could have said that people from like a Indo-Pak culture, students are not mostly independent, and they don't know how does it even feel to have financial responsibilities. However, if you go to the Western countries,
How do I structure this paragraph?
okay, how do I structure this paragraph? The way you structure is you come up with your thesis, which is your point, and then you explain it. The only thing which seems to be wrong over here is you have a point after a point after a point. However, you have an example for only your third point, which is they tend to be more adjusting to an environment and are able to withstand more hardships and uncomfortable situation, and even it has an assumption. For example, students, so you should have one point, you should have a clear-cut example that explains that point, and then you should form a development and just end it. Are you able to get what is wrong with it with this body? Now? Okay, cool. Okay, let's see what we have in the second one. Secondly, it says students tend to learn about the various learning techniques used by other universities, their research work, application of knowledge to practical experiences. They all help him learn and understand the various topics covered in the semester more thoroughly. Again, it seems like an assertion, honestly. Okay. The author tends to assume that these various techniques used by other universities, their research work, application of other practical experiences will help him learn and understand the various topics covered in the semester more thoroughly. Again, you need to mention that, why going abroad is basically enhancing your understanding. Like, you need to say that, hey, probably the reason is that when people are tackling, different minds are tackling a similar problem or a similar project, then they can come up with 10 different solutions. Then when you basically change your environment, you become more dynamic with your toolkit to tackle the same problem. Now, you cannot just tackle, like, for example, I'll give a GRE example. A GRE quant can be, solved through conventional, I would say algebraic method or conventional method. However, you can choose numbers or back solve, that kind of thing. So when I was doing my study on my own, I was using mostly conventional math. But when I started using the servers, I realized that, hey, back solving also works. So that kind of thing. So you should be coming up with a clear cut stance that why going abroad is how it's basically enhancing your understanding more thoroughly. This is like, you have stated that this happens. How? It's not there. Let's see if it's there in the explanation. For instance, the part-time job experience is something that is missing in India, but it is very common in foreign universities. The part-time job experience plays a very major role in making students independent and self-sufficient, teaches them about finances and financial independence and the various other life skills that are essential in the real world and cannot be taught in the conventional curriculum colleges and universities. Is this example related to the fact that you are getting practical experience? Okay, maybe you're getting practical experience okay. If this job is related to your degree, which you haven't mentioned, then you're getting a practical experience. But let's say you were working at McDonald's part-time, then this is basically not attached to your thesis statement, which is your introductory statement, which basically says that, hey, when you go abroad, you learn about a particular topic more thoroughly. This example is like, which type of job are you talking about? Is this a job, like, for example, if you get a research assistant job and you get hired as a research associate in the foreign university, and now you're talking. Now this is telling you a lot of cool stuff. But let's say you went abroad and you started working for McDonald's, how is this making you understand your major more thoroughly, which is basically your main thesis? The example is not making sense to me, honestly, at this point. Let's see. You gave another example. Let's see if this example can save you. It says, another example could be teaching assistant. Oh, okay, this one is good. This one is better. Another example could be a teaching assistant roles available in foreign universities where you work closely with the professor and build a healthy relationship with them, which helps you gain a lot of knowledge from their teachings and their life experience. Okay. You need to mention that these teaching assistantships are not common in your own country. Otherwise, if you are basically saying that, hey, teaching assistantships can enhance your learning, you need to kind of like connect it with your thesis statement, introductory statement, that, hey, in our countries, or in most of, you can say maybe, let's use induction, let's generalize. You can say most of the South Asian countries do not have research and teaching assistantships, probably lack of funds, blah, blah, blah. You can come up with any reasons. However, when you go to abroad countries, professors tend to hire, students for their research work. They come up with a team, so they have a lot more opportunity to learn under, professionals, blah, 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 that kind of thing. You haven't mentioned it that this cannot happen at your own hometown, which is why, again, I'm not convinced a little bit. Then it says, teaching other students help you polish your skills and gain more knowledge, answering their doubts and questions. Okay, I agree 100%. This experience goes a long way in life and is something that everyone yearns for. Is this related to your thesis statement, which is basically... Again, I'm not able to connect, man. I'm not able to connect. Honestly, it's like, how are these things directly... It's like you have assumed a lot of stuff that, hey, the reader is going to understand on its own, but you have not stated them explicitly. Is it true, Aryan?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, okay, so this is something which is... in the second essay, don't you use this to attack the author's assertion? Right? So you yourself try to debunk the author's assertion. Why? Because you want to make this argument clear that, hey, these arguments are not clear. So it's kind of like you are doing those same things, and it's almost like you're jumping from point to point without explicitly stating what your basic intention is. Okay, anyway, no worries. However, okay, probably this is the concession, guys. I'm guessing this from the however. This exposure comes at a price that could not be afforded by everyone, and often makes people feel sad and gloomy that they are missing out on something very important, and hence people tend to think that they have already lost the battle. What? Okay, this is a huge assertion. Just because people cannot afford... Let's say I had a friend, he could have afforded going to US for one semester, I couldn't. Would that make me that I have lost the battle and now my degree at my own home country is worth nothing? Okay, this is
That is why people tend to think this. They've lost. People envy. People that envy.
Okay.
Students who are going abroad to study. So I was writing on those terms that they tend to think they've already lost the battle. They're better than us, students studying abroad, and hence they cannot do anything in their life now. And this takes a toll on their mental health. It's like we're done. They're better than us. They'll take our jobs.
Don't you think you're being a bit too strong? Like, if just imagine for 1 second. Let's say you did a 4-year bachelor's degree in, engineering. Your friend also did a 4-year degree in bachelor engineering, but for 1 semester he went to US and you didn't. Would you feel like, oh my God, I've lost the battle, I have nothing more in my life to live for? Don't you think that is a bit too strong?
Yeah, man. I get it, man.
Yeah, that is like, this is like a huge assertion, man. Like, okay, so how would I say it? Okay. Let me think for 1 second. So if someone is going out, people tend to think that they have already lost the battle. No. I wouldn't say they have lost the battle. I would probably loosen up the language by saying that people would tend to think that they are probably not capable. They won't be, you can say, not up to the mark, or probably they will lag behind in some skill set, or probably they will not be able to land their dream job, and this might, discourage them for probably moving forward in their life, something to this effect. Now, this is a lot more realistic than simply saying, hey man, I quit my degree. Why? Because my friend went to US in one semester and I didn't. This is a bit too strong, in my opinion. However, I think what I would say in this concession is, hey, maybe, it is not appropriate for a university to require or make it a demand for everyone. It should be a loose end. It should be open to candidates. What if they cannot afford? What if they are already, they have dependents who are, dependent on them and they cannot leave them, blah, blah, blah. This is how I would have come up with my concession. Constantly this affect and deteriorates their mental health and physical health. Okay, that's it? I'm not convinced, man. I'm not convinced, honestly. This third paragraph, not convinced. Okay.
I think he's trying to say that going abroad is a better opportunity, but it is expensive, and those who are living here, they can't get these kind of exposures within their own country, but just changing their own mindset or something like that.
Yeah, Nina, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. But the problem is that you cannot basically let reader to interpret, especially in academic writing, you cannot simply let reader interpret what you're trying to say with unstated premises. You need to be explicit in your approach. So what I'm seeing Aryan is doing is he's jumping from points to points, but he's doing the same thing that, argument essay, the essay pool 2 does, the ETS does, and those arguments are, you and I both know that they're not convincing. They're weird and they can be attacked easily, and same is the case happening here. That's what I'm saying, that you need to be explicit in your how you're connecting the points and how you're coming up with examples. So let's just wrap this essay up by finally going to the conclusion. It says, I argue, for 2 reasons outlined above, college and universities should send their students abroad to foreign universities for at least 1 semester. Interacting with people from various cultures, ethnicity, tradition, etc. help them to grow independent, confident individuals and stand out in the society. Despite many benefits of studying abroad, I do concede that is something that is affordable by only a few people and may affect the health drastically of those who are not able to afford it. Okay. The essay overall has a structure, it has a body 1, a body 2, but man, there is a lot of stuff which is like making me say, what, how, what? And I think this is really important, guys. I think the lesson learned here is, the second you write something, you should be trying to think of as a reader and trying to live up to his expectations and say, hey man, if I've stated this, the reader is waiting for how and why and those type of questions. Do you have answers to those whys and hows? And if you have those, I think this is that would be an awesome essay. So you guys have any questions related to the issue essay before we jump to the next one? Anyone? Especially Myra, because this is your first class, I believe.
Avery, what do you think this essay would get?
Okay, man, I'm not an expert. I'm learning myself. I cannot say anything. It's probably that if you refer to Greg, in my own opinion, at the best level, it might get a 3. At best. Okay, so what are you targeting, basically?
Anything above 3.5.
So you probably need to work on connecting your ideas and coming up with sound explanations. If you do that, your essay will definitely be 4 or above.
Also, do they take an average of both the essays?
Yeah. This is something that I know for sure. So let's say you have a 3.5 here and a 4.5 on the other one. You're gonna get a 4 on the G. Okay.
Yeah.
So probably I think you guys don't have any questions, right? Should we move on to the next one then? Yeah, go ahead, Myra. I think you have something to say.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying okay.
Okay, cool. Okay.